Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 896A, and today's date is February 17th, 2016, and the title of the episode is The Economy is Hanging by a Thread, and it's about to break. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, for the past couple of days, we've seen the market being pushed up, gold being suppressed. They need to keep this illusion alive that the economy is absolutely fine. Remember, in their minds, they need someone else to take the blame for this. This is why they're going to continually prop this up. When I say they, United States government central bankers. This is why we see all the geopolitical events occurring right now. And things are moving very, very fast. We see the economies in many of the countries. They're starting to be ripped apart. They're cracking. They're falling apart. In Canada, things are really going south fast. We see the value of the loonie is dropping. We're seeing inflation in Canada. Right now, fresh fruits, vegetables, they're all up in price. We see household debt relative to disposable income is sitting at 171% in Canada, meaning that for every $100 in disposable income, households have debt obligations of $171. And by the way, that's the highest figure for any G7 country. We see unemployment is rising in Canada. I mean, it's been falling since 2008, slowly coming down. And as soon as we hit the end of 2014, moving into 2015, it's now trending upward, hitting over 7% already. How quickly things turn around. We see the housing market's falling apart, and it's getting harder and harder for people to survive. A lot of people saying they're very close to not even paying their bills. And this is happening in many different countries at this point, not just Canada. And this is going to spread and accelerate. We are seeing continuous layoffs. Walt Disney is going to be laying off 100 people. Bombardier, they're going to be laying off 7,000 jobs. Now, back in October, Quebec put the taxpayers on the hook for about a $1 billion bailout for Bombardier. And now they're cutting their global workforce. And this is just unbelievable. They're doing it in Canada and Europe. Again, where are these people going to find jobs? It's getting worse and worse as time goes on. United States, the housing bubble is following what's happening in Canada. It is falling apart. We see housing starts, permits have dropped for the second month. Home builder confidence, as we mentioned yesterday, is in decline. And we see that all of this is starting to fall apart. What we're seeing right now is that housing starts and permits, they are well below their 2007 highs. And what is more troubling is that the year-on-year change growth is moving toward the area we saw back in 2007. Not good. And let me just say, this is going to fall apart very, very quickly. Industrial production has posted the third consecutive annual decline. And the last time we saw this, we had a recession, which is moving into a depression. We're going to see the same thing once again. The only times in the last 100 years that 3 months of U.S. industrial production contraction has not coincided with a recession was in 1934 and 1952. All the other times, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 18 other times, we have seen a recession. Well, we've already been in a recession. We are now moving into a depression. It is getting worse and worse as time goes on. I know the corporate media is out there saying, oh, the month-on-month rise is up by 0.9%. Of course, this is against a revised 0.7% drop in December. But when you look closely at this, what changed? Utilities. U.S. utility output shows the biggest gain since December of 2009, and that's what pushed this up. Is this a recovery? No, it is not. And we are seeing so many global indicators right now that this economy is completely falling apart. Chinese exports, they fell by 11.2%. India exports down 13.6%. Japan, their exports have declined by 8%. Imports there have also declined by 18%. For the sixth time in 6 years, Japanese GDP growth has gone negative. United States exports down 7%. U.S. factory orders have fallen for 14 months in a row. The Restaurant Performance Index in the United States has dropped to the lowest level that we've seen since 2008. As we know, the Baltic Dry Index fell below the 300 mark for the first time ever. It's above it a little bit today, like 301 or something like that. But this is extremely low at this point. I mean, right now it's cheaper to rent a 1,100-foot merchant vessel than it is to rent a Ferrari. Class 8 trucking in the United States dropped by 48%. We see many companies are continually laying off people. The number of job cuts in the United States skyrocketed 218% during the month of January. This is according to Challenger Gray and Christmas. If we go back 1 year, it's down 42%. Retail stores are shutting down at a stunning pace. People are being laid off from retail. Global stocks have fallen into bear market territory, which means that about 1/5 of the global stock market has been completely wiped out. Central banks, they have cut interest rates 637 times. And they have purchased a staggering $12.3 trillion worth of assets. What do they have left? They have nothing left. They don't know what to do at this point but to keep the economy propped up any way they possibly can and they need to do this by manipulating everything. Because they cannot have it come down unless they're going to do it in an orderly fashion. This way it can be blamed on someone else. This is what they're trying to do. And what's very interesting, after gold shot up after the market came down and people got very, very nervous, all of a sudden we saw something very interesting on the gold market where there were 75 gold future contracts. They were used to spoof prices lower. And once it was completed and the gold price was brought down to very close to 1,200, gold prices started to inch up a little bit. And it looks like they want to keep the gold price around 1,200 or maybe a little bit under that. That seems like that's their comfortable position to say, see, the economy is fine. You don't need to buy gold. And they'll continually do this. Every time we see a dramatic increase in gold prices, they will come out and they will suppress it very, very quickly. They cannot let gold rise because that is an indication that people are pouring their cash, selling their stocks, and moving into gold as an asset. And they don't want people to know this. They want to keep people in the dark. And this is why at this point, we saw how fast gold shot up. Well, think about it when they lose control. Think about it when gold is hitting $100, $200, $300, and they cannot stop it because it's out of control. And that day will come. They will not be able to control this, and they know this. We see that the UK has accelerated the gold exodus to about 573 tons. In December 2015, the UK has net exported 184 tons of gold, which is the third highest amount on record. This was released by Eurostat. We see China. They are importing gold And they've imported about 217 tons that we know of. So of the total export from the UK in December, 29 tons were net exported directly to China, and the other 155 tons were net exported to Switzerland, which from there, 59 tons were net exported to China. So what we're seeing right now is everything is moving from the west to the east. China is continually building up their gold reserves. Russia continually building up the gold reserves, and we see the Western countries dumping gold. Well, for everyone out there, you need to be prepared. You need some type of precious metal. Does it have to be gold? No. It could be junk silver. It could be silver eagles. If you have the money to buy gold, I would do that. But if you have cash on hand, silver is very cheap at this point. I would have some of it as an insurance policy at this time. Other countries realize what's going on here. And you need to protect yourself, not just with a weapon, not just with food, but you need to protect your wealth. Because when all is said and done, you will have real money, because you know that paper dollar is going to completely disappear or be devalued to nothing. And you'll be stuck with worthless paper. It happened in Germany, happened in Zimbabwe, happened in Argentina, Brazil. Think about all the currencies around the world that do not exist anymore. But what does exist? Yes, precious metals. They still exist. Yesterday we talked about how the oil production is going to be frozen. Russia was making agreements with Saudi Arabia. They were hoping the other OPEC nations like Qatar, Venezuela, Kuwait will agree to this, because right now Russia is trying to take control of the situation and stabilize the price of oil. Now, oil is very low at this point, and we know it's being used for many different agendas. And Iran, this is one country that doesn't know if they're going to participate in this, because again, the market is now open to them, and it looks like they are ready to produce and sell their oil. And again, remember, they are bypassing the dollar completely. Most of these countries, and you can see Russia's taking control of the situation. We see OPEC kind of dying off. They can't even get together and have a meeting and discuss anything. We see Russia's taking control, and we see things are now shifting away from OPEC and moving towards Russia and their new oil conglomerate. And everything is happening all at once. There's big shifts occurring right now. And the United States is going to slip into a third world nation as this continues. This whole system cannot be sustained the way it is. And it's going to get worse and worse as time goes on. Does this mean that we have to settle for all this? Does this mean there's nothing that we can do? Well, just like every other economy that collapses, when the dust settles, we need to change things. We need to get rid of the central bank. We need to remove those government employees that are not going to work for the people. There are certain changes that we're going to have to do. And everyone's going to have to be willing to do this once everything is all said and done. But you need to prepare for what is coming so you can come out the other side and you're able to do these things, to make these changes in America. And all those people around the world in their countries need to do the same exact thing. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.